So now that we have generated exponential smoothing forecasts, let's generate a linear forecast using linear regression. So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to Data tab here, and then you need to click on Data Analysis. Okay, and you should see a dialog box like that. And if you scroll down, you'll see Regression. Okay, let's click on Regression. Now, to do regression, we need a y variable and an x variable. Okay, what is our x variable? Our x variable are the dates. Our y variable is passenger numbers. Okay, so y range will be, I click on this little spreadsheet sign. Okay, that minimizes the dialog box. So so this is our actual observed passenger numbers. Okay, so I select the passenger numbers. Okay, click the spreadsheet sign. So I have the passenger numbers for the x variable, for the y variable, and for the x variable, I click here, and I click on the route. Okay, so these are our dates, even though it says routes. Okay, so I have included the labels in my selection. Okay, so this is all you need to do regression. Okay, so now if I click OK, there is going to be some number crunching, and Excel will give you answers. But before doing that, let me specify what kind of output I want and where I want that output. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I want the output range. Okay, I click on the output range, and Excel has a bug in my view, and when I click this, this field gets highlighted, which shouldn't be. Okay, so I click here. Okay, I click here. Click on the little spreadsheet button. Okay, and I scroll down. I want the output somewhere here. Okay, just randomly select a range. Okay, and I want residuals. Okay, so the residuals as well, and then I click OK. So now what I have is here I had selected a small range, but Excel will expand it. Okay, so now this doesn't look very legible, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these three columns, and I'm going to move the cursor to the boundary between two columns, and you'll see two-headed arrow, and as I double click, it will resize these columns to make the contents of the cells readable. Okay, so I double click. See, here is the number of observations, observation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Here is the predicted number of passengers. Okay, and here are the residuals. Okay, what are the residuals? Residuals are your forecast errors. Okay, so predicted is what regression forecasts for the first period, for the second period, etc. So these are your forecasts generated by regression, and these are the forecast errors, how much off each of these forecasts are from the actual observed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these next to the actual numbers and our exponential smoothing forecasts. Okay, so I'm going to click here, hold down Shift, right arrow, hold down Shift and Control, down arrow, Control C, copy. Okay, so I'm going to come down here, come up here, okay, and I'm going to, let's see, put them here. Right click, paste. Okay, so again, these numbers have different decimal places, and so what I'm going to do is I want to copy a desirable format, for example this one, to these two columns. So a simple way to do that is click here under Home, click the Format Painter, and I can click and drag on these columns. Okay, so this way everything in this column and this column will be formatted in the same way. Okay, I double click here. Okay, double click. Okay, so how good is this? Is the linear regression forecasts better than, are the linear regression forecasts better than exponential smoothing forecasts? One way to judge this is to add these forecasts to the graph that we had. So instead of predicted, I'm just going to say regression forecasts. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and I want to add a third line here, okay, a third graph. And so I right click here, select range. Okay, so I have the actual data, exponential smoothing, and I want to add the regression forecasts. So the name will be this, okay, and then the values will be these, all the way up to here. Okay, okay, okay. So now the red line shows you the exponential smoothing forecast, and the linear regression is the green line. As the name implies, it's linear, it's a line, and obviously the linear regression is worse. Okay, you can tell that visually, but in many cases you may not be able to do that. Okay, so in many cases when you cannot visually tell which forecast is better, you need to quantify the quality of competing forecasts. Okay, so in the next video I'm going to show you how to do that.